Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dave from Military to Millionaire. Today, I want to talk to you about the unicorn in the room. Yes, not the elephant, but the unicorn. This is the VA renovation home loan, and nobody knows anything about it. Trust me, it took me months to figure out what this was or that it even existed. It was like this thing I heard about that nobody could answer any questions about. Lenders I talked to said, no, that's not a thing. And there was like this one guy who was like, yeah, I've done that. And that set me off on this like hunt, like this just legitimate manhunt to figure this thing out. So now I want to tell you about the VA renovation home loan. This is magical. One of the biggest issues with the VA loan has always been the inspection process. People say, well, it's a great idea, but you can't really use it for investing because the property has to be in perfect condition, move-in condition, can't have any issues with permitting or structure or needing repairs. Well, guess what? That's wrong now. So what if I told you that you could buy a fixer-upper without a single penny out of your pocket, right? Zero down, like the VA loan. But then you could turn around and renovate the entire property and still pay zero out of your pocket. And you could buy the property for nothing, renovate the property for free, and now you own the property with equity without paying a penny out of pocket. Sounds too good to be true, huh? Well, it's not. I have news for you. This actually exists. So here are a couple of the things that you need to know about the VA renovation home loan. It's amazing. The VA renovation loan is good for up to a 100% of loan to value purchase, up to $1.5 million. Now there is a stipulation there. The VA guarantee or the VA guarantee plus equity / your personal investment has to equal up to 25% of the lesser of the sales price or the after repair value. So in layman terms, that means that if you buy a property for $1 million, fix it up, and now it's worth $1.5 million, you're good. If you buy a property for $1.5 million and fix it up, you're good. So if the sales price is 1.5 or less, you're good. If the after repair value is 1.5 or less, you're good. So the VA loan does cap out, and that differs based on your area. For Hawaii, it's like $726,000 right now. Other places, it's 400 and some change. But what happens is if you buy a house, say here where it's $725 and it's $1 million home, then you have to pay 25% of the difference over the $725. So if it's $100,000 over, then I would have to pay 25% of that $100,000. So $825,000 home, I pay $25,000 to buy it, which realistically is still nothing down. Now the cool thing is that your equity can be counted in that. So if you buy a property that's worth $900,000 and you pay $800,000 for it, now you still can get away with zero down. And that's including the after repair value. So in essence, you can get into a property for $1 million or whatever and not pay a penny into it and still not pay any repairs. Now the cool thing is that you don't have to buy a property that expensive. In a lot of places like San Diego or whatever, you can buy a $200,000 property or $300,000 property and then fix it up for 50 to 100 grand, and now you own a $400,000 or $500,000 property with equity involved, and you paid nothing out of pocket. So let's talk some of the details. Now, one of the things people always worry about is your funding fee. So it's true that you have to pay 2.15% for your first VA loan, or 3.3% for any subsequent if you put zero down. If you put 5% down or 10% down, that number changes. But if you're a disabled veteran, that becomes zero. The funding fee is really not anything crazy to be worried about. It gets tacked onto the end of your loan. So you can pay the funding fee, or you can just wrap it into your loan and again pay not a penny out of pocket. Or if you're disabled and retired, then you don't pay a funding fee at all. Now, surely there are some limits to the amount of money that you can be loaned for repairs. And the answer is yes. It has to be at least $5,000 worth of repairs. But there's no limit to the maximum amount that you can renovate. So you can buy this crappy property and put $300,000 into it, and that's fine. It just can't be $4,000. So if it's that small of a renovation, you need to like break something and spend the $5,000. I'm not recommending that, but that's just kind of funny that you would ever really need to do a $5,000 renovation. Here's where this loan gets really cool. You can even do structural repairs. This means that you can relocate load-bearing walls. You can do additions, you can add rooms, so new construction. You can even purchase a house that is completely uninhabitable at the close of escrow. That means that you could buy a tear-down house and use the renovation loan to fix it up, flip it, rebuild it, whatever, and move on with your life with equity. That is huge because the biggest complaint about the VA loan in the past has been that you have to have a perfect house to move into it, and that's simply not true anymore with this amazing VA renovation loan. All right, the repairs have to start within 30 days of closing, and they need a plan to be done by 6 months. Now, obviously, there's times where that goes over because of construction delays, but the plan has to be completed within 6 months. And finally, your contractors have to be vetted and have a VA builder ID, which is actually a good thing because that means you're not going to get some scumlord contractor. You're going to get a decent contractor, or at least a contractor that is proficient or competent enough to have gone through the VA vetting process and passed. So your odds of having a really bad contractor experience are a lot lower, which is huge because contractors is often a sore subject for people who do renovations or rebuilds. I thought about going through the entire list of repairs and renovations that this loan could cover, but it is so extensive that I did not want to do a 20-minute video. So suffice it to say this. So this is kind of mind-boggling. It'll even pay for the purchase or installation of new appliances. So you can get all your new appliances at Home Depot or whatever and wrap that into your renovation loan. And pool repairs. So if it'll cover pool repairs and your new appliances, it'll probably cover everything else. So the list is quite extensive. Do your research, but basically everything. Okay, to wrap this whole idea up, you can buy a fixer-upper for nothing out of pocket, fix it up for nothing out of pocket. You get to reap all the equity that was created in this process as your live-in flip. You move into the property, and then when you move out, you cash flow, you sell the property, whatever. This is like the missing link for investors for using the VA loan. This is huge. If you don't grasp how big this is, then you need to do a little bit more homework because it's huge. Absolutely awesome. I'm currently looking to utilize this loan right now, and it's amazing. So the reason nobody knows about this loan is that it was only pioneered about 3 years ago. It was a kind of a newer loan. Loan Depot is actually the people who I met with about this, and they kind of test piloted it. And for a little while, there were limits as far as how much you can do renovation, but that's gone. It is now full reign, past the test pilot program, and it's just out there ready to be used. Now, a lot of lenders still don't know about it or still haven't utilized it because it's kind of new territory. So for that reason, I recommend that you shop the lenders, right? So with the VA loan, there's not a whole lot of requirements. A lot of the requirements are placed by the bank. For example, I utilized a bank, or I talked to a bank about using the VA loan, and they were like 40% debt to income, that's our cap. And then I talked to another bank, and it's like 65%. Well, that's a huge disparity. So make sure that you shop your lenders, and if they tell you they can't do the renovation loan, or if they tell you it doesn't exist, you might want to look somewhere else. Now, I'm not necessarily endorsing these people, but I will put the email down below for the gentleman that I sat down with and had lunch about this, because not only was he able to do it, he has already done it several times. He's extremely confident, extremely competent, and he's willing to help you. And if he can't lend in your area, his team can, and he will link you up with somebody else who's competent and confident. So definitely check him out if you got questions. Link below. I also will link to the blog post that I wrote about this so you can read the full list of repairs. But guys, check it out. I cannot stress enough how huge this VA renovation loan is. Go do your research, utilize it, and then tell me how it went for you so that I want to help take you and your amazing success story and show the world the power of the VA renovation loan. So guys, subscribe, click the little bell so that you can get notified of the updates, because this VA renovation loan movement is going to be huge and you don't want to miss it.